Hey everybody. Yeah. So let me start by setting the timer for our sort of warm up, just chatting-ish kind of opening period. And now we could hop on to. No, that's not it. This is it. Hey everybody. Yep. So today we're playing a little versus pinball, and well, about a half hour. It's been a while since I played that long of a session of versus pinball without actually having an audio book or a train video or something like that in the background. But then we'll be playing Super Mario Odyssey for the bulk of the stream, I expect. And I stopped playing back in like 2018 or 19 or something like that, probably more like 2018. And it was the last time I happened to play Mario Odyssey, and I was at this certain level. I had no idea if it was a full-fledged stage. It turned out to only be just basically a boss fight arena. And then I was at Bowser's Castle. I didn't realize I was like 95. What is that? Alright, hold on. Oh. No. Yeah, I did not realize I had that timer running. Yeah, I actually do keep quite a few timers for various things on my desk. But yes, I did not realize I was 95% of the way through the game all these years that I had put it down. And, well, I guess, we won't be playing this game today, but I did add a new game to my Game Boy collection today. Well, I added it a few days ago when I made the purchase on eBay, but it is not this game. It is not Tetris on Game Boy, which I've played before on the Analog Pocket. But it is related to Tetris. It is a spin-off, a sequel of sorts, with some famous names that you might not realize are famous behind its development. We'll put this away for now. Now, for today we'll be playing using the Joy-Con boys, and we'll be playing because all my games today are going to be on Nintendo Switch, and Mario Odyssey has several moves. Well, it has one particular move where Mario can throw Cappy in like a circular motion that's great for attacking groups of enemies or objects you need to strike at once. And the game makes it it basically, you can only activate that if you're playing using the Joy-Cons, because normally I play Switch using the Pro Controller when I'm on stream. I normally do not play with the Joy-Con unless I have it in tabletop or handheld mode, which frankly only happens when I'm traveling these days. I travel fairly often for professional and personal stuff, but I do not actually. I usually don't bring my Switch because most situations where, unless I'm going to like my mom or my dad, where I know that they have Switches and we might play against each other or something like that. Aside from that, I really leave my Switches at home. My Switch at home, because usually, I'll just might as well just show this off so people know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have this little word processor that I take with me everywhere for my professional and personal stuff. All this does is a text editor and writer, and I use it for everything I do because I'm a writer. And now that I have a portable word processing capability that tiny, most situations in which I would have a Nintendo Switch, I'd much rather be writing. Alright. So I'll just move my mic over to the side on the desk and get started. Yeah, so this game, Hamster did a really good job with the Arcade Archives collection, and that they actually do cater to the what controls will work best for each game. Now, this game originally released for the Nintendo Versus system. Well, I mean, this is an enhanced version of the famous NES pinball game, programmed chiefly by Satoru Iwata during his days at HAL. And I think this is his, one of his earlier NES projects on NES was, this was mostly his work as I come to understand it. And when they made the enhanced version for the Nintendo Versus system, the interchangeable arcade system that had mostly NES game, enhanced NES, arcade exclusive NES games, that ran coin operated, and owners could buy a set that would have like a cartridge or something like similar to that. It's not something you could actually put in an NES, I'm sure. I never actually found out what the Nintendo Versus system media looks like, because I don't know if it's just a cartridge you can actually stick in any NES or Famicom. But on the other hand, those server type things that they have in hotels, I don't know if they really have them anymore, but they would have, I know I've seen them for N64 and PlayStation. They used to have them for NES and Super NES. I don't know if they ever had a Genesis version. But the Japanese version of that, those hotel server things where you have a bunch of game cartridges in a central location and people could call up from their rooms to like access the games with a hardwired controller. Those things would actually, in Japan, those like server bank things used NES cartridges with special ROMs on them. Like not Famicom cartridges, they were, I believe, red NES cartridges. And it's kind of funny, because if you think about it, like the way an NES cartridge is compared to a Famicom cartridge, it really does look like some kind of cassette tape or something you'd put in a big mainframe computer system, some sort of data tape or data cartridge. So it actually kind of really worked extremely well for that setting. But what I was getting at is I've never seen, how I got to this current line of discussion, is that I've never actually seen what the the interchangeable media for a Nintendo Versus system looked like. And as I understood it, owners of a Versus system cabinet could buy a kit that would have a game that they could install themselves, and a new marquee and new instructions for the controls. And because these cabinets were meant to be interchangeable with all kinds of different games that may play in all sorts of different ways, you didn't have a lot of unique controls like, one game might use a trackball, another game might use a dial, another game might use a D-pad. No, you just had two buttons and a joystick. And because these games were based on Famicom or NES games, excuse me. Yeah, I am getting over a cough. I just took some cough syrup for the first time. Last stream, I actually was, coughing a lot midstream, and it was really bad. And I had the hiccups for, for about 20 minutes before the stream started until about 48 hours, for the next 24 hours after that. It was very, very bad. No, it was actually more than 24 hours I had the hiccups, because it wasn't until the evening of the following day, because I streamed on Thursday. It wasn't until late Friday evening that my hiccups went away finally, but I still have the cough. It hasn't been so bad, but I haven't been talking a whole lot because I'm not on stream running a show. So due to that, I went ahead and got some cough syrup from the supermarket. And so hopefully, this seems to have soothed my throat quite a bit. And I do always drink my water frequently. I mean, if things were as bad yesterday, if things were as bad today as they were yesterday, I actually would have canceled the stream, because the stream would have been even worse than the one on Thursday. And that one, there were points where I could barely conduct the stream. I think we saved her twice so far. Now, if you let her fall, not if Pauline falls to the floor and Mario does not catch her, that actually counts as a lost life, believe it or not. Man, this is the longest I've been on the bonus board for a while. And of course I had to say it out loud, so it's going to fall down there. Okay. So, the point of what I was getting at is that the Nintendo Versus System controls were basically mimicking NES. So, for something like this pinball game, having a button, like just digital buttons on the left and right for the operate the flippers like a pinball cabinet would have been ideal, but you just have A, B, start, and select. So, on an actual arcade cabinet, as I understand, A or B moves the left flipper, and then moving the joystick in any direction moves the right flipper. And it also moves Mario during the paddle sequences. I mean, the only other way they could possibly have done it is to have the A button on the right be the right flipper, and the B button on the left be the left flipper. But it's just, I mean, either way is sort of arguably unintuitive and is different and is by its own measure. So what Hamster did is when you actually use the big shoulder buttons, not the bumpers, but the main shoulder buttons, the ZLZR, you use those to operate the flippers in this version, which is really fantastic. And when I go to play Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire, which I played back earlier this week during the Nintendo Direct, before and after I played Pokemon Pinball, I was really it's hard to get used to using, because Pokemon Pinball uses the A button for the right flipper, the entire D-pad for the left flipper, and B is like just shakes the table. It's sort of the tilt function. But, you know, tilting it in real life is cheating, and plus modern pinball tables are way too heavy to actually manually tilt like you could in the olden, more mechanical ones, the lighter ones. But it really is a feature built into the game. It's part of how these video pinball games work, especially ones like Pokemon Pinball, or like Kirby's Pinball Land. You know, and that's another interesting thing. Now, both Kirby's Pinball Land, which is a Game Boy game I loved a lot back in the 90s. I don't have my childhood copy, but I do have a copy. But that copy of Tetris I showed you at the beginning, that was actually my childhood copy of Tetris, which is great being able to play it on stream. I haven't played it on stream since, I can't remember the last, you know what, it was about a year ago. I went through a month where I played original Tetris, then I played Tetris Attack for Game Boy, and then I played Pokemon Puzzle Challenge for Game Boy Color, and then I played Puzzle League, the Puzzle League that was bundled in with Dr. Mario on Game Boy Advance late in the system's lifespan, which I never actually owned back in the day. I actually got it specifically for the stream, for these streams to be able to, because I play my original cartridges using an analog pocket, so it was really nice being able to just run some of my childhood games, and then some of the games I wish I had. Well, not necessarily childhood when it comes to something like late GBA era. Like GBA era, I was a teenager, and DS era, but the version of Puzzle League for Game Boy Advance is really incredible with all its customization, but it has no real theming. Like the original, excuse me, I keep saying I need to cut down on those vocal tics, but the Puzzle League game on Game Boy Advance has no, it doesn't have any, I guess, theming or characters. The original Panel de Pon for the Super Famicom had, Lip and those sort of fairy girl, magical girl characters. They changed those over to Yoshi's Island motifs for the international release of that game as Tetris Attack. And then I think they were working on a Puzzle League game for N64. It ended up getting canceled and turned into the US only Pokemon Puzzle League, which is one of the best versions of the game in my opinion. And that's not a version I played back then because I don't have the means to run my Wii through my capture card in a way that is looks good enough for me. I know there are means, they're like really high-end adapters you can get. I got like a cheap adapter, and for some odd reason, only the, well, it's some very dry technical reason, I'm sure, but the capture card only likes the signal when I'm playing, when I'm on the Wii channel, when I'm on the Wii channel menu. As soon as I go into an actual game, it just turns into a black signal. So I guess something in the signal is changing, that is being run through the adapter, the Wii to HDMI adapter, in a way that it doesn't work. I tried like the Hyperkin cable, and I tried the cable by Ghana, and I had the adapter dongle thing by Ghana, and I had the same problem in both cases. Now, oh. Okay, thank you, Bubbles from Clue Clue Land, and your guest appearance as the ball save character. Now, if you flip all those cards over at the top, you get the Royal Flush. You get the, if you could flip the Jack, King, Queen, and Ace. And whoa, doggone. That's game. That's game. Let's get some water. Now this game, I'm playing on the high score mode, and the high score mode is very well, I mean, your scores go on a leaderboard, but it makes you play as though you were really in an arcade where there's no pause function. And if you do anything to pause the game just sort of resets. Well, let's see, does it work with? Okay, so I can go to the home menu. Okay, so if I need to pause, I'll go to the home menu. Now, the normal, like the non-high score mode does let you pause, which was not a feature in the arcade version. But today in particular, I'm probably going to be going through a lot of water to keep my my voice in operable condition. And we got you, Pauline. We got you. We're not going to drop you, Pauline. Yeah, if you drop her, like I said, I've gotten game overs on the bonus screen. Normally, the bonus screen is someplace you're safe. You don't. For the ball going down the out lanes, you do get an extra 1,000 points, which is not something that is featured in the NES version. That's a good addition. There's several good additions to this version of the game. I consider myself, I mean, I guess I'm a hardcore hobbyist by virtue of the fact that I'm streaming this game on Twitch and having a dedicated streaming setup and a bunch of consoles and original vintage games, and I play modern games too. So I guess by that metric, I'm a hardcore, I guess you could say, if you want to use those sorts of terms. But in regards to like skill, or I guess acumen at being, I don't consider myself a highly skilled gamer. There are not many, there are not many games I've ever, I don't know, I prefer to play games on easy mode. I prefer to have an easy time, relaxing time, and then if I get bored, if I beat the game and I beat it again and I get bored of the easy mode and I want to get more enjoyment out of it and play it for longer, then I go to the hard modes, which is why those games that have easy modes but only let you see like the first few stages, and then it stops, like, play the normal mode next time. I was like, let me play through the game on normal mode, and then when your easy mode is just the first few stages of the game and it cuts you off, that's not cool to me. It's like Parappa the Rappa does that. A lot of fighting games do that too. All right, and we're 3/5 of the way to getting that Royal Flush. When you get the Royal Flush, you get a bunch of bonus points, and you get outlane stoppers, and oh my goodness. Now, the thing that stinks is that if you go into the bonus board, which is actually a good thing normally, I got this itch in my nose. If you go into the bonus board, it resets. The cards are still flipped over, but you lose your outlane stop, your gutter stopper, and your outlane stoppers, which I don't think is fair. You'd think, I mean, it would make more sense to me if the outlane stoppers were more of a sort of thing that, like, going to the bonus board is not failing. Yeah, you're leaving the board, but it's not a failure. But I do think that overall, this version is a lot better balanced than the NES version. Oh yeah, that's what I was getting at, talking about difficulty and easy mode. I tend to prefer I tend to play in the most casual, comfy, easy mode manner possible for the most part. And then when I get really good, then I go to the harder modes. But with this game, I actually do prefer the arcade version, the Versus Pinball, as opposed to regular pinball on the NES. Because for a perfect example, on the NES version of this game, these 3 pop bumpers on the lower table are worth 100 points per each time you hit those targets. Yeah, those 3 bumpers in the center, the 2 pink on top and the 1 yellow one below, are worth 300 each. On the upper table, yeah, we're gonna have to restart the game now. Yeah, I have to remember to use the home button to pause. Yeah, so those lower pop bumpers. You know what? Oh boy, I'm gonna be honest. This is out of control. I gotta be honest, and I have to give my viewers who came in to see me, who took their time out of their day to watch me, I have to give them the best experience possible. They deserve the best experience possible, and I have to look out for my health. I have the energy to do this. I have the desire to do this. But I'm coughing too much. My throat is so dry, I feel like I'm going to start gagging. I was fine all day, but it's the fact of talking as I do to conduct the streams. If I just want to sit there staring at a monitor, lost in my own thoughts, I do that off stream. You know, I want to do a show. I want to entertain you. I want to engage with people. I want to say things that are on my mind, things I think other people might be interested in. Talk about the game, explain the game, and my Saturday streams I like to go on for 4 hours, 2 full hours of gameplay, a 10-minute break, then another 2 hours of gameplay, and if it goes on a little longer, great. But I can't reasonably conduct the stream with my throat and this cough I have. So I'm gonna call the stream there. Thanks everyone for showing up. Now I'll be back on Saturday, February 14th. No, Saturday. I forgot to change the day of the week. Doggone, I forgot to change the day of the week again. Yeah, Azure S, sorry. But thanks for showing up. Thanks for your support. This is the first time I've ever had to stop a stream. I've had streams stop because the internet went out in my neighborhood, or I was dropping too many frames before I got before I got my upgraded internet connection. But on Saturday, we're gonna be doing an Amazon Prime watch party of the first Hunger Games movie, and so that'll be next week, next Saturday. Well, that's not next Saturday, next Tuesday. And then next Thursday, I'll be doing my high score storytime stuff. And then Saturday is going to be the next... Basically, next Saturday is now going to be the stream I planned for today. So this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm very sorry, everybody, but thank you so much for your support. And thank you very much for watching.